Okay, so let's first deal with the question of selfish. What is wrong with being selfish? Why is selfish bad?
To an extent.
Hmm?
Being selfish to an extent is not bad.
When is it bad?
When it's too much.
Why?
When it's taken away from others, I guess.
When it's only about you.
What's wrong with that?
Because you live in a world with other people.
You can't live your life just about yourself.
Because?
It's wrong.
Why is it wrong?
I thought we were asking. Because you can't be someone who's everything's for yourself.
Why?
Because there's other people here we gotta care about.
They don't take care of themselves.
What if they can't?
Everyone's
That's-
independent.
If you want to understand why it's not selfish of God to create the world, you got to understand what selfish is. What's wrong with being selfish?
We're always told not to be selfish.
I know. So, you come into somebody else's house, you're the guest, and you do whatever you want.
That's selfish.
Yeah, and that's inappropriate because
It's not your house.
it's not your house. But if God is creating his house, how can that be selfish?
Well, not the
Actual creating of the house is selfish. It's putting sentient beings into the house and expecting us to bend our will to his when he created us with a will of our own.
And we don't have the choice to leave this house.
Oh, wait. So that's a different question. You know, why does he give us will and then tell us what to do?
I guess that's the question I'm trying to get at.
Oh, okay.
That's like
But-
the cautious.
But let's resolve first the selfish thing. If he invites you into his house, where's the selfishness?
He didn't invite us. He
He didn't
created
invite
us and
us.
put us there.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice to become put in this house.
Yeah. So you would rather not?
I don't know.
So where is the selfishness? See, selfish is wrong because we exist in his world and want it our way. That's selfish. That's what's wrong with being selfish. But if it's his world and he wants it his way, what, that's selfish?
It's not just wanting it his way. It's he wants us to make it a dear but the planet.
Right.
So you can't walk into someone's house and then tell you to make the world a dwelling place for them. It's like being their slave almost.
If he created us like robots with only to be able to do
Yeah,
his thing.
so that's a different question. Why would he even give us free choice? If he was really being selfish. So giving us free choice means he's not selfish. But even if he were, to him, for him to be selfish is appropriate. It's his house.
You can't expect people to just come to your house and start doing everything for you.
Why not?
That's rude.
That's rude.
Then don't come to the house.
We didn't have a choice.
So leave.
We can't.
Can't.
What do you mean you can't?
Mixing with that.
Can't do
What
that.
means you can't do that?
Oh, all of a sudden you're firm. Oh, but that's a sin.
I don't necessarily want to die. I just maybe I don't want to live my life for him.
Okay, so create your own world and do whatever you want.
So it's not
So the complaint that he's being selfish doesn't apply. What's wrong with being selfish is if you're not in your own world and yet you want it your way, that's ridiculous. But this is his world. His world, he wants it his way. That's not selfish. So then the question is, why did he give you free choice if he's not going to let you do what you want? Yeah? Would we be better off if we didn't have free choice? Would we prefer it that way? Are you really asking, take away my free choice?
We wouldn't know any other way, so that's what it would be the same.
But now that you do, would you rather not?
Probably not.
You don't want to give up your free choice. Okay. So that option is off the table. The other option is, if you give us free choice, let us do whatever we want. You want that?
A little bit.
Nah, a little bit, not too much. So the other option of just let us do whatever we want, we don't really want that. We don't. Because kids who are told you can do whatever you want by their parents hate their parents. Don't do that to me. We don't want infinite choices because it makes us crazy. So what the balance is, I'm giving you free choice, but I'm going to tell you where your limits are. And you have the free choice to break those limits. But I'm not going to leave you with a blank check that you can do anything you want with, because it's crazy. It would make you crazy. So kids who are not given rules hate it because they don't even know what the choices are. Tell me right from wrong, and I'll choose whether I want to.
But then you get punished if you make the wrong choice.
Of course, because wrong is wrong and right is right.
But what if it's not necessarily something wrong? But
What?
it's some things in Judaism aren't wrong. They're just not. They're just. It's the right way, but
Not
they're
proper.
not doing.
Like
not
what?
proper.
Like what?
Stance. What's wrong with wearing a skirt in the middle of your knee? It's not wrong. You're not hurting anyone. You're not killing anyone.
So the only thing wrong is to hurt someone.
I would think so. Steal from them, yeah. Hurt them in any way.
Mhm.
Anything that's immoral.
And immoral means hurting somebody.
Or just bad conduct in general.
Mm. How about just wasting your time? Is that bad?
Yes.
Why? It's not hurting
Not to
anybody.
waste
Waste of time.
productive.
Yeah, it's not hurting anybody.
That's true.
Sometimes it's okay.
It's not affecting anyone else. You're only affecting yourself.
So there's nothing wrong.
I wouldn't think so.
So wasting time is not an immoral thing to do.
No, it's obviously not the most productive thing you could be doing, but there's nothing, no one's gonna go over to you and punish you per se.
Could it be you're punishing yourself? Like when you're not doing anything really productive?
And if you are, that's immoral.
No, but you're just hurting yourself.
So is that right or wrong? Bad or good or bad?
Neither.
Do you want to
Neither.
Depends on the preference. Some
So,
people like sitting down and wasting their time.
okay, so you're assuming that the definition of morality is hurting somebody.
I'm not saying it's the definition of morality, but I'm just saying
Or
that
affecting others negatively.
So if you cheat on a test and graduate without really knowing, who are you hurting?
yourself,
You're hurting yourself.
because you didn't learn the information, but some people don't care.
Hmm?
Some people don't care if they don't know the information.
Some people don't care,
Yeah, a lot of people don't care.
and therefore,
So there's nothing wrong with it for them. Cheating on a test obviously in itself is bad. But
why?
For
Why?
them it doesn't, because you're stealing somebody's information.
But nobody's getting hurt.
So then you're hurting yourself then.
How are
If
you?
it matters, because if you're losing out the information, but if it's something that doesn't matter to you, like if someone cheats on a math test, but they hate math, they don't know math, so they're not really hurting themselves.
Right, so then it's okay.
It's not okay, because again, you're stealing information from somebody else, but it's not the worst thing. It's not horrible.
So stealing information where nobody gets hurt is still wrong?
Stealing,
So stealing is wrong even if nobody gets hurt.
yes, because you're taking something that doesn't belong to you.
Okay, so the definition of immoral is hurting somebody is not a good definition,
I didn't say that was the definition, but yeah.
right?
So what is the definition?
That's a good question. You see, we make certain assumptions and then we have problems with it. We have to question the assumption. What is wrong with hurting somebody?
If
Oh,
the
that's
definition of selfish.
That's wrong. Why is it wrong?
'Cause you should be a good
You have
person.
no right to hurt
There's
another
no-
being.
Well, we don't have the right. What does that mean?
Means, who do you think you are hurting someone else?
It's like killing someone.
Yeah, because I'm
You don't
stronger
have-
and smarter, so I beat him up.
You
can't-
still wrong.
If he could beat me up, he would beat me up. But no, I can beat him up, so I beat him up.
What kind of mindset is that?
What's wrong with it?
You know there's something wrong. There's no words for it.
No words. There really is no definition for right and wrong. There's none. Obviously. The Nazis decided that killing Jews is a good thing because it's eliminating all the sick people so that the human race can be healthier. Isn't that noble?
No.
Not?
For them it was.
For them it was okay, but for a sane person,
Yeah.
it's not okay to kill people.
Why?
Because God said so. Kidding, but
Don't.
yes, God said so, but what if someone, like some people don't care?
Some people don't care.
And according to the Muslims, their God said to kill the Jews, so for them it's okay.
Right.
You can't pull a God card.
Hmm?
'Cause you can't pull the God card. Because our God says don't kill. Their God says kill. So to us it's wrong to kill, for them it's right to kill.
Mm.
So you can't argue which God is better.
Can't?
No,
That's-
because
That is the whole argument.
you can't have two infinite beings. So there's one God.
Right.
So to them, that's what their God told them.
So somebody's wrong.
Maybe.
What
It's
is
just a
wrong?
different belief.
No. If there's only one God,
Then who's wrong?
good question. But let's start from the beginning. Again, this is God's world, His creation. What He likes is appropriate. What He doesn't like is not appropriate. If you're in somebody else's house and they say, use the yellow towels, don't use the purple towels. You say, what's your problem? Same thing. But if you use the purple towels, you're bad. But I don't see what the problem is. You don't have to see what the problem is. It's somebody else's house and they don't want you to use the purple towels. So what is the definition of right and wrong? Whatever serves God's purpose is right. Whatever doesn't serve His purpose is wrong. Because it's His world.
Anything in between?
Meaning,
No, is there such a thing as something that's not right and not wrong?
yeah, the things that He decides
Or-
are optional, so it's optional. But what would make something right or wrong? The act itself? There is no act that is by itself wrong, including murder. And that's why sometimes, even according to Torah, you got to kill somebody. The act itself is not wrong. And that's why there's no explanation for it. Like, what's wrong with killing? Well, you don't have the right. I don't understand what that means. Who gives me rights or takes away my rights? What does rights mean? If I can kill him, I'll kill him. Like people, hey, you can't kill people. Oh yeah, I can. Here, I'll show you. So what does it mean you can't? You shouldn't. Who decided that? Only God. Without the Torah, without the Ten Commandments, there is no right or wrong. There's only practical and impractical. So certain things people wouldn't do because it's not practical. Like if I kill everybody in town, who am I going to talk to? So it's not practical to kill everybody. You're going to leave a few people to argue with. But that's not right or wrong, that's just practical. So all morality, right and wrong, does not exist without God.
So
So the-
non-Jews have nothing.
So the atheist says, that's not true. I know right and wrong. So yeah, for example, what? No, murder is wrong. You really came up with that yourself? That was your own original thought? No. So, right and wrong means that which works for the purpose of creation or that which works against the purpose of creation. Now, let's get to the purpose of creation.
Could I just add something?
Yeah.
Great, God had an idea, and whatever his idea was to create a world, it must be a great reason. He probably has a very valid reason for creating this world, but why drag us into it?
Right.
Well, it's like this little, like in grade school, we used to make these models of things and put clay people in them, like models of different landscapes, and imagine just animating those things, giving them a will and saying, okay, 3, 2, 1, go, do everything I want, and if you do what I don't like, I don't think that's very nice or fair to the creations.
Well, it could be. Some people like it.
Ooh,
Who? All those people don't want to die.
but that's not really.
I don't want to die.
So,
You must like it.
Not necessarily.
mhm.
Not necessarily do I like being told what to do.
No, but you like being around. You like being alive and part of the plan.
But what plan?
Whatever the plan is.
I didn't ask to be a part of this.
Right. But do you want to be part now that you're here, or do you rather get out?
I don't
There's
care.
no other option.
No, that's not true.
There's no option.
Yeah, there's an option.
Being dead or
Yes.
being part of the plan.
What, if he hadn't created you, you'd be dead.
No, it wouldn't exist.
We would have been fine like that, not existing.
So you can do that again.
And we're always
That's not
told
good.
that everything like, oh, Chabad, that's great, and that's where we came from, and everything was perfect there.
Oh, so you were never really dead.
And our neshamas didn't want to leave Gan Eden. Then it must have been better.
And if we kill ourselves and we go to Gan Eden. I mean,
You don't-
Elam
you
Haba.
don't. No.
I'm saying,
No.
if you go to Elam Haba, you go to the heavens, then you're going to get in trouble there anyways. They're gonna,
There's no way out.
exactly.
And that's not fair.
It's not fair. But really, just between us, would you rather not be alive?
I don't know.
Hmm?
It's too much of like a lofty concept to think about. I can't like wrap my head around it not being in existence.
What does that feel like?
Maybe I would rather, let's say, be a non-Jew.
My neshama
Maybe-
could go back to Gan Eden. Maybe I'd rather that.
Yeah.
But we don't
Just
know
go
because
back.
we've never had the.
If it was so much greater up there, then why shouldn't we want to go back?
Question is, do you? Are you not enjoying this at all, that you'd give it up in a second?
Not necessarily, but I want to understand.
Okay. So you're not saying I resent being created.
No, but I want to understand why.
Okay. So let's change the question a little bit. It's not like you had a plan, why'd you have to involve me? No, I like being involved. I just want to figure out
What it is.
exactly what I'm doing here
And why me?
and why me. Okay. So now let's get to the big question of why would he need anything if he's so perfect? So I was talking to this really big rabbi, and I said, we do mitzvahs because that's what God needs from us. He says, God doesn't need from us. He's perfect. So God doesn't need anything. I said, I really feel bad for your wife. He said, what does my wife have to do with it? You said that God doesn't need anybody because he's perfect. Well, you're almost perfect. So you don't need your wife. being perfect means I don't need anybody.
God doesn't. He's not. We're not created to be his wife or his partner. We're created to give him pleasure and to make this world a dwelling place for him.
And he needs pleasure from us?
Probably not.
Probably not, because...
He's perfect.
Exactly. So we're back to the same thing.
So
Your
that
definition
makes
of
it-
your definition of perfect means I don't need anybody.
You don't need anything.
There's a difference?
Yes. You don't need
Tell me.
physical things. You don't need. Well, yeah.
No. Tell me more about that. If you're perfect, you don't need any things.
You need nothing. 'cause
You need nothing.
That's what perfect means.
Right.
It doesn't need an addition to it.
Right. So you don't need anything and you don't need anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No desires, especially if that's what you think of God as, like, perfect. No desires, no
Right.
needs.
Right. That is a dangerous definition, and it's really not true. The more perfect I am, the less I need you. That makes me perfect, or that makes me into an animal.
The fact that you're perfect means that you're not reliant on anyone. You don't need anyone.
I don't need anyone. That's perfect. That's scary.
So then what is perfect?
Okay. A man and a woman get married because they're all grown up, they're both mature, they don't need anything anymore. So they get married just to have each other, not to take something from each other. That make sense? If I marry you because I need something from you, isn't that selfish? And doesn't that show that I'm not perfect? Because I need something from you?
Well, then God is selfish.
Wait. So marriage means I don't need anything from you. I don't need somebody to do dishes. I can pay someone for that. I can do it myself. So why am I marrying you? Not because I need something from you. I just need you. Because without you, I'm just me, and that's pointless. So I don't need anything from you. But I need you. So I don't need something, but I do need someone. Now, if I need something, I'm definitely not perfect. If I need someone, that means I'm not perfect?
But God doesn't need anyone. He was here before anyone was here.
Let's talk about ourselves first. A person who is perfect doesn't need anything. But does he need someone?
There's no perfect person.
Mm.
If I just needed you, I don't need anything from you. I have all the money I need. I have all the help I need. I'm not insecure. I don't need anything from you, but I want you in my life.
Why?
To have you. And for some reason, you're not available. What am I missing?
You.
Is that an imperfection in me?
You're missing something.
But I'm missing you, not something in me. In other words, I'm not missing a piece of me. I miss you. So it's not a contradiction to being perfect. I can be perfect, but I need you. For what? Not for what. I don't need a what.
To start a family.
No.
What do you mean no?
Even if we don't start a family, I need you in my life. That's marriage.
Yeah, but no one's perfect, so we're not gonna like.
That's, relatively speaking, the reason you get married ideally, is because you're as perfect as you want to be. You're not trying to grow anymore. You want someone else in your life because you're done with yourself.
Bored.
You're bored with yourself. Yeah. So, the Eibishter did not create the world for something, because he doesn't need anything. He created the world for someone.
Isn't a desire still a flaw, though?
Not necessarily. If I am perfect, but I desire you, that makes me more than perfect. That means that I am already perfect, but I'm also humble, and I'm not enough by myself. So you read all these descriptions. The Eibishter existed before creation. He was all alone. There was only him. Isn't that a problem? Is that a compliment to him? Or is that the problem? There was only him.
So you got bored?
It was not satisfying. To be me is not acceptable. For no particular reason. Because not like I need something from you. So what the first thing we know about the Eibishter, when we're told that he created the world, I mean, this is very strong, like, what, he wasn't content just being himself? Obviously not. But he's perfect. Yeah. So the question is, he was not content being himself, but once he creates us and has us, now he's content. We make him better than he is himself. So whatever it is he's gaining from us, the real question should be, how can he gain anything from me? I complete him? That's how marriage should feel. The guy you're marrying, you should think, what, I'm going to make his life better? He needs me?
But in a marriage, the husband doesn't sit down after getting married and say, okay, here are the ground rules.
Oh yeah, he does.
Does he?
Yeah.
Or here give you a whole list.
But that's the real test of a marriage. The husband will say, I need this and I need that, and this is how I want it, and this is how I like it. And if you don't do any of it, he's still married to you. Because the bottom line, he wants you unconditionally. That's a marriage. If there's a condition, it's not a marriage. It's like a business deal or something. If you do this, we'll be married.
So then if we do something wrong, why should we be punished for it?
Because there are consequences. Doesn't mean he doesn't want you anymore. Somebody once said to me, God seems to be really cruel. If you do this, you get killed. You do this, you get killed. But if you think about it, there are 613 things that he needs of us. How many of those 613 are punishable by death? Take a guess.
10.
Let's say 30. 30 out of 613. Which is like saying, I invite you into my house. And I say, please, don't mess this up, don't mess that, don't use this, don't. I give you all my instructions, 613 things. And you violate 600 of them. And you can still stay in my house? That's called tough. So the Eibishter says, you can be in my world if you keep these 613. You violate 513 of them, yeah, you can still stay. He's way too lenient. So what does death mean? Death means get out of my life, right? Get out of my house.
But you're still an animal.
Huh?
I don't know that.
If you're dead.
I mean, your body. You're not physically there, but you're still in a part of it.
No, you still exist somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't stop you from existing. He just doesn't want you in the house. But the point is, the need for you is always. The need for the mitzvahs from you, yeah, if you don't do it, you're still Jewish.
What about divorcing?
Yeah, he doesn't divorce us.
Why can't we divorce him?
Why can't you divorce him? Because no matter how much you want out, he does not.
But that's like in real life when if
Yeah.
a woman wants divorce.
She can
That's
get it.
that's horrible though.
Yeah. That is horrible.
But isn't
So 1 second. Let's get this thing clear. The Eibishter didn't create the world to get something from you. He created the world to have you be with him. Now obviously, if you're fighting him, it kind of puts a damper on the whole relationship. So he tells us, this is me. I'm Shabbosdik, I'm kosher, whatever. Right? So if you want to be with me, join me. You don't want to be with me? I still need you in my life. Af al pi shechata Yisrael. So the mitzvahs are not a condition. It's not keep my mitzvahs or I don't need you. No, I need you. That's why you should keep my mitzvahs. That is called an intimate relationship. Don't need something from you. I need you. That's how a marriage should feel. And that's why if there's something about your husband you don't like, that's just a something. You don't want to lose him. Unless he's so bad you really don't want him. Then you got to get divorced.
So what if you don't want to fight? What if you just don't care?
That's pretty bad. Because he still needs you.
But you don't care. It doesn't.
Yeah. So that's a problem in the relationship, but the relationship is not over. So it's not like, if you don't care, I don't care. It's not even a marriage.
how do you have that relationship with Hashem?
You mean, how do you make it good?
Well, yeah. Or even in like when two people actually get married, how do they have it? It sounds like such a good relationship, but how does someone actually like achieve that with God and with your husband?
It's a little easier with God because he
He's not talking to you.
Because he initiates it.
Right.
The reason we remain Jews all these years,
Because we didn't have a choice not to.
sure you have a choice.
But there's no way to divorce God.
We've never wanted to. The reason we stay Jewish and the reason we remain is because it is really hard to resist when someone needs you. Not in an unhealthy way, of course.
So why do people get cars if they convert? Why do people get cars if they convert to classic Christianity?
Or anything else you get chorus for.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Chorus means you can no longer function in a body. It doesn't mean that your soul can't be in the body anymore. But it doesn't change. It doesn't change his feelings about you. Let's put it in different words. If a Jew does something for which he gets karas, whatever that means, cut off, who does it hurt more, the Jew or the Eibishter?
Does the Jew feel it?
Yeah. Otherwise it wouldn't be a punishment.
Do we get cars nowadays?
Probably not.
Is it like a physical or spiritual?
Spiritual. But who loses more?
God.
That's right.
Why he still has his soul?
It's not what he wanted. He wanted
A soul in the body.
So,
So then why does he give it?
karas,
Yeah, why does he?
there are a lot of things that he doesn't like that he has to put up with. See, that's an important thing. Let's start from the beginning. Let me introduce you to God. Because what you think God is really not lovable. Really not. He's God, he's perfect, he doesn't need you. But when you get him angry, he'll hurt you so bad. And this is the God you're supposed to love. It's ridiculous. So let's get a realistic look about God. In the beginning, God created the world. Do you know what it took for him to create the world?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. He had to give up so much in order for the world to exist. First, he has to do a tzimtzum and put himself aside. Otherwise, nothing can exist. Then he has to give us free choice, which means we can hate him or reject him. Not a pleasant thing. He has to create a Yetzer Hara, which he hates. And he has to create Golus, which he hates. And he has to create evil.
Why did he do all this?
That's a very good question. So the first thing we need to ask, just from the first words of the Torah, Bereishis bara Elikim, why would he do that to himself? To himself. Whatever the answer is, it must be so important that he's willing to put up with all of this. So what do we know right from the start? In order for him to create the world, he had to sacrifice. So it was a sacrifice on his part to create the world, which is the same thing with marriage. You're going to get married, a man marries a woman, he gives up so much. Independence, freedom, carefree, do whatever I want. Why would he give all that up?
For his wife.
Yeah. So the first thing you know is that it's a sacrifice. God is not this perfectly happy, blissful creature who couldn't care less. No. Got the wrong God. That's Buddha. So now the question is, whose need, whose want, whose opinion is more important? It's not like I need a bunch of things, he needs nothing, and he sits there dictating what I should do against my will. No. That's not the picture. The real picture is, I didn't need to be created. I didn't ask to be created, because I don't need this. He created the world, which means he needs. So whatever needs I think I have are not really mine. I was just created that way. So if I need to eat because I'm starving, and the Eibishter says, no, that's treif. Now come on. I need to eat. Can you get real here? My need to eat, that's real. What's his problem? Oh, he wants me to eat this, not that. Come on, grow up. In other words, his mitzvah is not nearly as important or as real as my need. I'm starving here. No, I can't eat it. Why? Because I'm fleshik. I mean, come on. Doesn't it seem a little ridiculous?
But you could eat not kosher if you're.
I know I could. And I think I should.
But God wouldn't punish you if you ate, because there's like if a Jew in Holocaust ate something that's not kosher. Pretty sure God wouldn't get upset at him.
He wouldn't?
I mean, yeah, you didn't do what was meant for you to do, but you would have died. You would have died for somebody else. Only a few things that you could.
So if you don't die, it means he doesn't really care?
There's only like 3 mitzvahs that you could die for. Eating not kosher is not one of them.
So it doesn't really bother him?
Sure, it bothers him, but especially if he put you in that situation.
If it's an extreme circumstance.
Okay, so in any casual, common experience, I need to keep my business open on Shabbos. That's when I make most of my money.
We actually heard a video today
Yeah.
on that. Or a video.
I
We read a
encountered
video
with
this
the
morning
Rebbe.
Yeah.
on a guy who kept his store open on Shabbos.
So why doesn't it make perfect sense? I need to keep the store open on Shabbos. The Eibishter says keep Shabbos. Come on, he doesn't need it. I need to keep it open. So shouldn't I? I'm going to. It's like, if I had the free time and if I had all the money in the world and the Eibishter says keep Shabbos, sure, I'll keep Shabbos for him. But it's not like that. I need to work on Shabbos. And he doesn't need me to keep Shabbos. So what am I going to do? Of course I'm going to go to work. In other words, my need always trumps the mitzvah because the mitzvah isn't necessary. No?
Makes sense.
So if I'm not hungry, I won't eat the non-kosher sandwich. But if I'm hungry, why in the world would I not eat it? That's where Yiddishkeit falls apart. But what's the truth? The truth is, I don't need to eat. I didn't ask for this. He really needs me to keep kosher. So we've got it all backwards. He's the one who's desperate, not me.
If he wanted us to eat only kosher, create only kosher food. That way we wouldn't have the choice to eat not kosher.
But if you both need something, you gotta compromise. It's how relationships work.
We're getting somewhere. But get this idea in your mind. He needs more than we need. He created this whole thing. So he is much more desperate than we are. Even, if I don't eat, I'm going to die. Okay, so die. So what?
Because then it's like you're killing yourself.
So?
God doesn't want.
You're so frum. I'm talking about how desperate my need is. Say, my need, I'm desperate because I'm going to die. Okay, so you'll die. And then you won't need anything.
What happens if God doesn't get our mitzvah?
So if we don't do the mitzvah, he will suffer forever because he's above time. It's not like, it'll hurt for 10 minutes. No, there's not 10 minutes by him. Whereas with a human being, If you die, it only hurts for a minute. And then problems
We don't know that.
are over.
We don't know that. We don't know what happens when we die.
You're definitely not hungry anymore. That I guarantee. No, I'm starving. When you're dead, you will not be starving.
That's what you know. That's it. You don't know if you're going to feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
You just know that you will not be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Or cold or anything.
Yeah, you don't know that.
So how serious can your hunger be? Huh?
If you're not going to need it if you die,
Hmm?
well, the fact that you're dead says something.
In other words, at the most, your needs are temporary.
Until you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Once you're dead, you're not going to need the food, but you're dead.
You know those boots that are to die for?
Yes.
Once you die, you don't need the boots. So that expression is totally senseless.
I wonder who came up with that.
Yeah, you got to have those boots. They're to die for. What are you saying? If I die, I don't need boots. But the Eibishter's need is forever. So we've got it backwards, like we feel like we're the victims.
Don't we affect the essence of him? Don't we not affect the essence of him? Only
Do we not affect the essence?
we don't affect the cosmos. Do we affect insight, our insight? Or is that the same thing?
The problem is that we do affect the atoms more than any other.
And he made it that way.
He is that way.
Well, you could change it if you wanted to.
No, we can't.
Well, then that's putting a limit on God, and that's not possible.
Well, there is one limit we have to put on God, and that is he can't help being God.
Right, but he could change us.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
He
I
could
don't
change
get
us
that.
to...
Whatever God is, he can't help it, right?
He's him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can't change him.
He can change himself if he really wanted to.
He can't become something else.
If he wanted to.
But then it would be fake.
He can't change...
He can't not be the Eibishter.
Like, you can't not be you. You could change your name or anything. You could change your face.
Mhm. So he can hide, he can take on chesed, he can take on gvura, but he can't change. Because he's really him. So the idea that we are here to serve him, which sounds kind of selfish or... the real question is, so let's start all over again. What does it mean to serve him?
Do what he wants. When he asks you.
And that serves him?
Yeah.
What does that mean? The Eibishter gives us a bunch of commandments because that's what will make our lives better. Isn't that what you're told?
I said no.
Why does he need you to do a mitzvah?
For him.
For him?
Yeah, because he needs us.
He needs us more than we need him, apparently.
He's very desperate.
So is that true or not?
You said it was.
Now it sounds like really.
Because I asked this big Talmud Chacham, what does it mean, Ivdu es Hashem? You're not serving him. You're making your life better for you.
How? Me
By
keeping
eating.
Shabbos is not making my life better for me, necessarily.
Yeah, because then you'll go to heaven and... Right? There's always a reward. There's always something beneficial for you. And that's why you should do it.
But we're always told not to do it like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, isn't that normal?
So I asked this guy, big Talmud Chacham, but not a Chassid, and he's convinced that because the Eibishter is perfect, he doesn't need anything. So when he tells you to do a mitzvah, it's for your benefit, not for him.
Okay, so if I don't want it, then why should I do it?
So 1 second. So I said to him, if that's the case, then what does it mean, Ivdu es Hashem? If he doesn't need anything, how can you serve him? You're serving him by taking his good advice that makes your life better. That's serving him.
That's helping yourself.
So this guy says, with no shame at all, he says, you know, that's the one thing in Yiddishkeit I never understood. He's a genius. He's a Talmud Chacham. He sits in yeshiva all his life. He's in Kollel. He has 9 kids, and he's still sitting and learning. There's only one thing he doesn't understand.
What's the point of the word?
A minor little detail, like, what does Ivdu es Hashem mean? Isn't that pathetic? Ivdu es Hashem means he needs you more than you need him.
So we're doing him a favor.
Absolutely.
There's a million of us, though.
Yeah. So what motivates us to do him a favor?
The fact that he needs us.
That's not much motivation.
Oh,
Well, that's because we're not in like realization.
that's the only motivation. Why would you do anything for anybody?
If you love them.
They need it.
Obviously. Obviously. And that's why I'm doing this marriage counseling, and this woman says, my husband never listens to me. He never hears me. And the husband says, are you kidding? I am the best husband anyone has ever had. You asked me to bring a flower for the table. I brought a dozen. She says, you see, he never listens to me. And he's saying, I bought you a dozen flowers. She said, I didn't ask for a dozen. I asked for one. No, but one doesn't make sense to you, so you buy a dozen. You ever listen to me?
So get rid of the other.
The point is not the flowers. The point is he doesn't listen to her. He does what he thinks is best for her. He doesn't care what she thinks. Right? So what is the best reason to do something for someone? Because they need it. She doesn't need a dozen. So if he brings a dozen, he feels like he's the biggest tzaddik in the world. But really, he's a nasty guy.
Nasty?
That's not so bad.
Yes.
So extreme, though.
No, it really is.
To be nasty to try doing something more for somebody else?
More by your standard. So it's almost, I mean, he doesn't actually say this, but it's almost like one flower. What are you, stupid? What's one flower? If you're buying flowers, you buy a dozen. Now, thank you for your advice, but next time, I'm asking you for one flower. Don't come up with a better idea. Don't dismiss me this way. Huh?
Get mad about flowers.
I've always known the
Yeah.
flowers.
Obviously.
She said, can we go away for a weekend? He booked a cruise for 10 days. See how good he is?
I would think that's sweet.
Very sweet. She doesn't like cruises.
Okay, so that's not so much, but...
But he doesn't even notice. He doesn't even care. He had a great idea. Hey, let's go on a cruise. That's your idea, not hers. You see, so if you're not doing what the other person needs or wants, you're abusive. It's abuse. He's killing her with his kindness because it's not what she needs. It's not what she wants. Same thing with, some people get more frum than the Eibishter. Like, please, do me a favor.
But again, they had a choice to get married.
We do
had a
have-
choice to be here.
We have a choice of either appreciating or not appreciating.
Appreciating what we didn't really
Yeah,
any
it's
say.
for free. How can you not appreciate that?
So were the flowers to her, though. I
Hmm?
didn't appreciate that. The flowers. For her, it was for free. Sometimes you don't appreciate things that are free.
Sometimes you don't, but life itself, don't appreciate life if you get it for free.
Maybe not life, but the fact that we're being forced to do this.
Not being
So
forced.
essentially, life's not free. We are given life and we're expected to do.
You have to pay a price.
Yeah, it
You have to be part of a relationship.
That's a price.
Yeah. That's marriage.
But it's not free.
It's not free. Being in a relationship is not free.
Some people don't want to be in a relationship.
That's true. They're very unhappy people. Life is a relationship.
What happens if you try the relationship but it's not working?
You're pretty miserable.
So what are you supposed to do about that?
That's a good question. But let's not distort the picture. The Eibishter created us into a relationship. He didn't just create us exist. No. The Eibishter says, I'm creating you to be there besides me. Beside me and besides me. So he gives us free choice, because if we don't have free choice, he's still alone. Right? If he wants someone beside him, if we're just a clone, then there's no one beside him. He's still all alone. By giving us free choice, there is someone beside him.
It's not really free choice, though.
It is completely free.
Free choice to do what you want, or free choice to be there?
No. Not free choice to do what you want.
But the choice is already planned for you. Everything's been planned already, so it's not necessarily a choice.
That's right. He doesn't say do whatever you want, or even be whatever you want. He's saying participate in this relationship or don't.
And if you don't, blah, blah, blah.
Then you're on your own. So really, if you're careful with the words,
But if we don't
there is freedom of choice. You can choose what you want. You can't do what you want. No?
Isn't that the choice?
Yeah.
No. I can choose to hate you. Doesn't mean I can hurt you.
You can choose to do or not to do.
I can choose. But then, very often, I choose to do something and I can't do it.
Yeah, what if you can't do it?
So the doing is not part of your choice.
So choice aside, what if you can't do something?
Yeah.
What if it's hard for you to do something?
And
Well, what happens then in this relationship?
you mean you want to do something for him, but you can't?
Or you have to do something for him and you can't.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you said. Yes.
So if you can't, will he hold it against you? Does that ruin the relationship?
No.
No.
What if you want him to do something and he can't do it? He doesn't do it for you.
Does that ruin the relationship?
Yeah.
At times.
The freedom of choice is the freedom to make a choice, not the freedom to do what you want. I mean, that's so obvious. Everybody goes into business, wants to get rich. They get rich?
They have the choice to go into business. It's doing business.
In other words, you can choose to get rich. You may or you may not. Then there are people who choose not to be rich. They don't go to work. So, in all things, you are free to make a choice. You are not free to do what you want. And in a sense, God also makes a choice, but he's not free to do what he wants. He can't force you to do the mitzvah. He wants you to do the mitzvah, he can't make you do it.
Hashem can.
No.
He can't make you do anything.
That's putting a limitation on God, saying he can't do something.
He can't.
Well then, what kind of God is he if he can't do something?
Who needs him? That's like, I want my kid to grow up. I can't make him grow up.
Okay, but you're not God.
Not all kids grow up.
I know. Tell me about it. You can't make someone grow up, no matter how powerful you are. So if God made the kid grow up, the kid didn't grow up. God forced it. So God can't make us like him. He can't. Because if he made us like him, it's not us.
He can make himself lovable.
That's true. He doesn't try hard enough.
Why is he expecting us to love him so much if he doesn't make himself lovable?
That's a very good question. Things happen in life that is so painful, and he expects us to love him. And I think that's why, if you don't love him, he's okay with that. It's like all these people who are survivors, from the concentration camps, and they hate him. He's okay with that?
Well, he has to understand then.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to like it, he has to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to like it, he has to accept it.
Right.
So it's not just a big deal if you don't follow his ways.
To whom? To him?
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. But he blames himself.
Then why give us the consequence if he blames himself?
Well, just like
Give
The
himself the
consequence.
consequence for doing a bad job.
He does. He suffers more than we do. Because he's infinite. Things matter to him much more than they matter to us.
So why does he do these bad things then?
I don't know. Why does he do it to himself?
Yeah.
sounds like a mental disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a mental disorder.
Mm-hmm. Masochistic. Like, for example, Mashiach. Who needs Mashiach? We need him or God needs him?
Yeah, exactly. Our lives are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Our lives are fine. I mean, I just speak for myself, but
Mhm. So Mashiach means somebody's going to come and fix the world. Who cares?
The world does need some fixing, though.
Oh, yeah. But I don't really worry about the whole world. If we can just fix a little neighborhood called Crown Heights, I would be content.
Everything will eventually get in.
True. But again, who needs the world fixed? Not the creator of the world.
You can just make it perfect.
But he
The
can't.
world. It's
You can't
his
fix
world.
it.
But the world is a relationship. He can't force it on us.
if you want.
So who
Then it's not gonna be a
so who wants Mashiach more? We or he?
He does. Then bring it already if he wants it so much. He's just making himself suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then if Mashiach's like eternity, then won't he be
So it's like
suffering
you-
the whole time that we didn't earn it if he just brings it?
And that's why we know that Mashiach is definitely going to come, because he's not going to suffer forever.
No, I'm saying
But for
if,
him forever.
So it's not like, well, maybe we don't deserve. Doesn't matter what we deserve. He needs it.
Well, he's waiting for us to do.
So it could be that we will never deserve, but Mashiach still has to come because he's not going to suffer forever.
it's impossible
So-
for us to
So let's,
get it by
if you remember this, remember the story in we read it in
the
the
whole world
Mahzer on Yom Kippur.
becomes Yerushalayim and people.
The Romans were killing the Asod Haruge Malchus. And the Malachim came crying to the Eibishter. What did the Eibishter say? Remember?
They deserve it.
Hmm?
That's what the angel said, no?
This is my will accepted.
Huh?
This is my decree accepted.
Or?
Destroy the right?
The Eibishter actually said, be quiet or I'll turn the world back into mush. You remember that? It's a part of the davening I never was comfortable with. Because it's understandable if the Eibishter is mysterious. And there are things he can't explain. So if the angel asks, what's going on here? Look, what is it? And the Eibishter says, can't explain it. Okay.
He better have a good explanation for murdering these people.
He doesn't have to have a good explanation.
But he has a reason why he's doing it.
Fine, you're right, and a reason that we maybe will never understand. But to say, shut up or I'll, come on. That doesn't. Say, I can't explain it. You'll never understand.
And no pester.
But to say, be quiet or I'll turn the world into mush, I mean, that's bullying. But if you really hear with a little bit of a neshama, the angel comes and cries that Yidden are suffering. What is the Eibishter's response? Imagine you're the Eibishter. The Eibishter is saying, you're really an angel. You care about pain and suffering. It's really nice. You're an angel. They're not your children. They're my children. They're not your creation. They're my creation. You're telling me that it hurts. So the Malach might say, well, if it hurts you even more than it hurts us, stop it. So the Eibishter says, stop it? You mean turn the world back into mush? That's
No,
not
just stop killing those people.
which means don't let this be the world it is. So the Eibishter says, what are you saying? Cancel the world?
No, cancel their death.
That's in a sense canceling the world.
Like, take evil out of the world. Well, then it's not this world anymore.
Well, then he could just bring Mashiach out that way.
So again, if he doesn't, there must be some awesome reason.
Yeah, if he wanted a perfect world, he's pretty stupid for putting in all this terrible stuff. He's
Mm-hmm.
just ruining his world.
Mm-hmm. So what's the plan?
Thought that Hashem does not feel emotion, that it's much else that we can understand on our terms.
We don't understand the extent, but we definitely understand the emotion.
I thought that in regards to Hashem it isn't. It's just put into words of emotion because it's that's something that we could relate to.
I don't think so. When we say chesed, we mean chesed or not? What don't we mean?
It said not. I learned somewhere that it says that all these things are just so that we can understand it just because we're human. And if it were said in other words, we wouldn't comprehend it because on our terms we're too small to relate to anything beyond that. But that in regards to Hashem, these things don't change because it says that Hashem doesn't change. So emotions change. So if Hashem had emotion, that means that he would change, but he doesn't change.
That's a very dangerous concept. In other words, the Torah says that the Eibishter is having chesed or feeling gevura, but he's not. So it's just an outright lie.
It's not a lie. It's
Well-
put in terms that we can understand.
But we don't understand because he doesn't have chesed. So what do we understand?
We understand what human chesed is. Like,
So why are you blaming him? Does he have chesed?
I don't know.
Of course he does. Otherwise, Torah is lying.
Well, So it could be so much something.
I mean, interesting.
different than-
Does the Eibishter have an arm?
No.
No.
No?
Chesed, yeah.
Well, yes and no. Well,
It's a muscle. No?
A muscle for what?
I don't know.
Exactly.
A muscle has to fit. You can't just make up something.
Well,
So
no
is God a
muscles-
giant human? God's in the form of a giant human?
Yes.
Arms, legs, head.
Yes.
So he's
That's
up
what
there
my
somewhere
Geisha
of
science teacher told me.
floating big
See?
human.
Science teacher knows.
No, I thought
I
that.
thought he didn't
That's
have
a
a
form.
form. He doesn't have a form.
So, but we were created in his form.
Oh.
No?
One of the 13.
Well, maybe our neshama was created in his form.
Whatever.
So the neshama has chesed?
Is that what?
Torah says he has an arm. It's not true?
Okay, so he has a body. He looks like us.
Torah says he speaks.
Right.
Torah says he speaks. Does he speak?
Well, he spoke to Misha,
Well, like, you didn't hurt him.
and he didn't heard him.
Did it sound just like this?
Well, everyone's
thought-
different, so.
Torah says he got angry. Got angry? Oh yeah. Angry, yeah. Nothing else, just anger. And smart. He's very smart. But isn't that also human?
Well, it's living. Right?
So we pick and
Because
choose.
animals do.
He doesn't have an arm, but he's got a big brain.
He doesn't have a brain.
Doesn't have a brain, he's just very smart.
It's not a physical.
He's not that he's smart. He's just all knowing because he made everything.
Right.
So he knows.
He knows. What, do you think he's stupid? But he doesn't have an arm. Well, what do you think, he's crippled?
So what is he?
Finally, you're asking the right question. So, my granddaughter was crying because her doll broke. The arm came off. So I sat down with her and I said, "Oh, I can't imagine how much that hurt." So she starts to laugh. She says, "It didn't hurt." I said, "What do you mean?" "The arm came off." She said, "It's not a real arm." I said, "How do you know?" She says, "It's plastic." She's right, no? A plastic arm looks like an arm, but it's not an arm, right? So what's a real arm?
Defined by it.
A real arm is something...
Not actually an arm. This is like this plastic arm.
There you go.
It's scary.
A real arm is made out of a bone. A bone? That's a real arm? It's a bone.
It hurts if it breaks off.
It does hurt, yes. So, who has a real arm?
God.
That's all.
A real arm can split a sea. Can yours?
It's like really small.
A seam, not a sea. So, God really speaks. Come on. Yeah, he does.
So we should be asking, do we really speak?
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that not a Jewish concept?
Wait. So, does God really speak? Yes. What? You mean like me? No. Not like you. You babble. God says, "Let there be." And there be. You try it. I mean, who really speaks? See, now it makes sense. The Torah calls what you do with your mouth, the Torah calls it speech. Come on, it's not really speech. No, but we call it speech so that you can understand at least a tiny little bit what his speech is really all about. So it's not lying, but it's a tiny little example. So after telling you that the Eibishter speaks, what do you know? A tiny bit of what his speech might be like.
it's still not really helping us understand him
It does help.
a tiny bit.
A tiny bit. That's what a mushal is, right? You want to tell a mushal about not being greedy, and you tell the story about a fox that ate too many grapes. What are we talking about a fox? We're talking about something. Okay, it's a mushal. But that's what a mushal does. A mushal gives you a miniature example of the real thing. So the same is true with pain. If I see somebody suffering, it really bothers me. I have sympathy. I have sympathy. He doesn't. I'm a mensch. She's not. Like, what are you saying? My sympathy, like the angel crying over the massacre of Rabbi Akiva, that's a mushal. The angel's pain is like a mushal for the Ebershter's pain.
And so that made him upset.
Who?
That the angels crying to God made him upset.
No, he was explaining that this is not some kind of a mistake that he can correct. The pain is very real, and stop it means cancel the world. That's not an option. So here's the point. The world was created to be the lowest world. Nobody ruined it. Nobody messed it up. This is the lowest world. The objective is to bring godliness to the lowest world. So people say, well, take away the pain. Take away the... Then it's not the lowest world. So like, take us back to heaven. I don't need you in heaven.
So are there people sitting around a table like right now in one of the higher worlds discussing the lowest world?
Yeah.
There's like
All the neshamas in Gan Eden
but like
who
actual
want to come back.
They're not actual people, though.
Who's not actual people?
The souls.
So we are the lowest form of
Of existence. Yeah.
That's why we were created last.
Because what is the reality of this world? The reality of this world is we can deny that there's a creator.
Some people do.
And some people do.
So how do you know
So what would be a next lower world? What would be a world lower than this?
No
there is
God.
no?
Hmm?
There is no God?
A world in which the world cannot know that there's a God. Well, what would be the purpose of it?
How do we know that there is a God?
why would God even want to be partners with the lowest of the low?
A very good question.
If he wanted a partner, he should make us better.
More like him.
Yeah.
Clones.
Not clones, but a little bit better than
A
how we
little
are
bit
now.
better, right? Yeah. It's amazing that he likes us the way we are.
Does he?
He even likes it. He even likes us when we're angry at him.
What about when we're sinning? When we're not doing what he wants? He still likes us.
How do we know he exists?
How do we know he exists?
How do you know that there's a God?
Say it again. How do we know that he exists?
He's in your sentence.
Who's he?
How do we know that there is a God that created the world, the God that created us?
That's a serious question.
Yes.
How do we know that there is a creator?
Because something's here.
We couldn't have just popped into existence.
Because there's a creation. If there's a creation, there's a creator. There was a time when people actually believed that the world was not created. That it always was. Then they had a hard time. So how do you know there's a creator? There's no creation. Why do you think there's a creator? But science discovered that the world was created. So now, then there's a creator.
What do you mean? Science discovered that.
The
How
world
did
didn't always exist.
How did
Right,
they discover
but
that?
isn't it like more like a mistake?
What's a mistake?
Our world, according to science.
The Big Bang.
That it came into existence by mistake?
Yeah.
Okay, so a mistake is its creator. Right? That's really the difference between Torah and science. Science says mistakes created the world, and Torah says, no, it wasn't. The creator knows what he's doing. They both have a creator.
The creator is mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I told my science teacher that I'm a mistake according to him.
So the message to the world is, you think you need? He needs much more than you. You think you're sacrificing by doing a mitzvah? He is sacrificing everything in order to have us. And that is irresistible. The reason we're so excited about Pesach came out of slavery. We're excited about Pesach because he came and asked us to join him. We weren't asking him. He came to Mitzrayim and said, I need you.
Didn't the Jews cry out?
Yeah, they just wanted the pain to end. They didn't want a Yiddishkeit.
Well, they didn't know Yiddishkeit.
Right. So all they wanted was for Pari to die or something. So the Eibishter comes and says, I need you. Can't get over that. We should never get over that. Never get over the fact that he started the relationship. Even with Avraham. Avraham was living over there in whatever Kakamemi place over there, minding his own business. He wasn't looking for the Eibishter.
But he did.
He was.
Huh?
Didn't he look for him when he was younger?
He understood him. He understood that there's an Eibishter. But the Eibishter came to Avram and said, come to my house. Right?
Rabbi Friedman, thank you. And a lot to think about. A lot.
A lot.
Thank you.
Can you say something about Space Hammer?
How come so little is said about Tzviras Eimer?
There's like a million languages on it.
I'm here.
There's a lot in my mind.
There really isn't.
All the Svartam.
Yeah, there's a lot said about the mitzvah of Tzviras Eimer, but nothing is said about the week of Chesed, the week of Gvura, Gvura Sheba Chesed, Chesed Sheba Gvura. Nothing. Even Hayom Yom, every day of Tzviras. Nothing.
Oh, he loves us even if we don't love him. So.
So Svida is supposed to be where elevating our emotions and our... So talk about it. What emotions?
Well, isn't it something that we're going to have to want and work on for ourselves? So if it was just stressed so much, then it wouldn't really be our choice to think about it.
But if the idea is, for example, the first week of Svida, you should perfect your chesed. And the second week, you should perfect your gvura. Excuse me, in a week? I get a week to perfect. Are you kidding?
That's why it happens every year.
Ah. And then every day, you have to perfect Yeah.
Just goes to
the
show
Gevurah
how
Sheba,
you utilize every day.
I don't even know what that means yet. I should do that in one day. Strange, huh? I think it works like this. Pesach means humility, right? Matzah.
Oh,
On the night of Pesach, the first night of Pesach, you don't count the Omer. Right? It's on the second night. On the first night of Pesach, you don't have a right to any feelings or emotions at all. Because you're a bottle. Matzah. Matzah. You have no feelings, you have no emotions, you have no... because you're cancelled. That's called humility. Once you experience that bittul, now you can bring back your emotions without the selfishness, without the arrogance. So once you get rid of the arrogance, and once you get rid of your selfishness, now you can have those emotions clean. So you're not fixing the chesed. You're bringing chesed back into your life without the chametz.
And how do you do that?
So you do it slowly. You reintroduce those emotions, but this time without the chametz. Without the arrogance, selfishness, my chesed.
And what does that mean?
It means that your emotions are now more innocent or more pure.
And you have to do something, or it just is?
Every emotion brings some kind of an action, but it's the emotion that needed to be cleaned up.
So if automatically on Pesach you are matzah.
I don't know if that's automatic. That's the ideal.
Okay, fine. So how do you...
Well, if you missed that first night.
Yeah,
You
you blew it.
So how do you bring back your emotions? Like, what are you supposed to do to bring it back?
You recognize them, because the first night you'd completely ignored them. Doesn't matter what I feel, it doesn't matter because I don't count. So that's the whole idea, that on Pesach, eating a mashahu of chametz is the worst thing in the world. And then the rest of the year you can do it? I mean, what's going on? If it's bad, it's bad. Why is it okay a whole year? And then all of a sudden for 8 days, it's the worst thing in the world.
Because for those 8 days you're cleaning it out.
But
I'm gonna die for 8 days though.
but you need them back for the rest
Like
of
a
the
juice
year,
cleanse.
because that's...
Yeah, okay.
So it's like you cautiously allow yourself to feel chesed, one step at a time. Chesed sheba chesed, gevurah sheba chesed, time chesed. So you're basically reintroducing it. You're not fixing it. You fixed it on the first night of Pesach, which is also a very interesting thing. Before you can start the Seder, you have to break the middle matzah. Why?
So you can put half aside.
Yeah, and the other half?
Which one? The bigger
One
one?
bigger
the
one.
smaller one?
The
Yeah,
part
the
that you
smaller
don't
one.
put aside.
You eat it later on.
But before you eat it, because you have this broken piece of matzah, you can tell the story of Yitzias Mitzrayim.
Meaning your ego isn't there?
So the question is, if matzah is already humble, sheba humble, you have to break it?
Well, it still exists.
Uh-huh.
It still exists. So
What?
matzah. I'm saying like it's flat, but it's there. So we basically should crush ourselves.
So the matzah is already humble, but you have to break the matzah. Because sometimes your humility is also a little arrogant.
You're arrogant because you're humble.
Yeah. So if your humility is whole, I am completely humble. So you even break that. Don't be so humble. So after that, you've really dismissed yourself so thoroughly. Now you can bring back your feelings, your experience, but without the chametz part. So that's what the Sfiras Eimid is.
But what does it mean to bring it back? Like, how are you bringing it back?
You allow yourself to feel it.
So, on Chesed, Sheba Chesed, you're supposed to feel kindness within kindness. What does that mean?
Pure.
Pure kindness. And then what is Gevura in kindness?
Okay, let's go down the list. What is Gvura Sheba Chesed?
Humans.
Huh?
There's humans left.
Gvura Sheba Chesed means you're doing Chesed, but in the form of Gvura.
Like boundaries.
Like you're telling the baby that he can't play with matches. So what are you doing, Gvura or Chesed?
Both.
You're doing Chesed.
Because you're saving the...
But to him it seems like Gvura.
Because it's in the form of Gvura. What would be the opposite? Chesed Sheba Gvura.
Is it... Is the first one, let's say, for you and the second one for the other person?
Not necessarily. But what does Chesed Sheba Gvura mean? It means you're doing Gvura.
No,
In the form of kindness.
Oh.
Right?
Disciplining.
Yeah.
Kindly.
So you're really doing Gvura, but it's in the form of Chesed.
So then you're doing chesed in the form of Gevura, like so you're giving money but not so much money?
Chesed Sheba Gvura is probably the worst of all combinations. It means I'm going to be nice to you now, but the purpose is to make you suffer. So my intention is Gvura, and I'm using Chesed
Like government officials.
to make you suffer. Yeah.
Is there a counterpart in all of this? With negative emotions?
What's a negative emotion?
No such thing.
I don't know, just in general. Yeah, there is. Because
It's
every
really
emotion,
anger.
because like Zelig and Masa kind of thing, that if there's this, then there has to be the other side.
Yeah, there's Chesed Sheba Kedusha, and there's Chesed Sheba Klippa.
Comfortable and uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
Being sad and not bad.
Right, but anger is a bad emotion.
Like having mercy on someone evil.
Like arrogance is an emotion, actually. But it's something that's not, I don't think it's never, or anger, it's never something that's positive.
Not necessarily true.
It's not necessarily an emotion. Anger is.
Then what's anger?
So what is the difference between Chesed Sheba Netzach or Netzach Sheba Chesed?
What does Netzach mean?
Anger.
Netzach means devoted.
You're devoted like selflessly. That's like Netzach Sheba Chesed.
So again, Netzach Sheba Chesed means
The primary is being devoted.
Netzach Sheba
But that- the
Chesed means
chesed is-
But the
I
chesed
am
is
motivated
everlasting.
by Chesed,
Okay.
and I'm expressing it
Through.
through
So
devotion.
the second one is the more important one, basically. The primary.
the thing that's holding that
Sheba,
person.
I don't care.
if it's in Chesed, so it's mainly Chesed.
So it's chesed within. Okay, fine.
So sometimes a guy is devoted to his wife because he loves her.
That is which one?
That's Netzach Sheba Chesed.
Okay,
Because he loves her, he's devoted to her.
right.
And then if that love goes away,
Uh-huh.
I listened to this last night, 2 nights ago.
On the other hand, Netzach Sheba Chesed.
Yeah.
Chesed Shebenetzach means he is devoted to her. And that's why he's being kind.
How else would we really get to
In other words, are you committed because you love, or do you love
because you're committed.
So which one is better?
Loving because you're committed.
What?
Loving because you're committed.
Okay.
Because then you're always committed.
Because
It's
then
just expressed.
the first one
Where's
is
that
like a
famous-
condition.
The famous expression, don't be with the person you love.
Love the person you're with.
That's a lot of opposites.
Wait, so then we should work on Netzach Sheva Chesed.
I'll have to work on all of them. But what does Avas Yisrael mean?
Love Jews.
So what's the important thing, the Ava or the Yisrael?
Well, can't love it without something to love. You can't do anything with just something.
You can't do anything with love.
Well, you stroll, because otherwise the olive could go anywhere.
Yeah, but if you don't have the Ava.
But
Ava-
then
Then
you
there's
just
still
have the olive.
yourself.
Avas Yisrael
You
means,
can't have
Not-
Ava Yisrael without both.
but Avas Yisrael doesn't mean Ava is important. Avas Yisrael means a Jew is important. And
That's
therefore you love him. That's why you can love a Jew you never met.
It's easier that way.
Exactly.
People,
Thank you very much.
spread the word. We've got the wrong impression about the Eibush. Got it all backwards. I don't know how it happened or whose fault it is, but we got it so backwards. We are real, he is not. But you have to have a lot of emunah and try to make him real. It's pathetic.
Thank you.
So do the Eibishter a favor.
And
Be nice to him.
Tell the world who he really is.
Thank you.
Thank you.